I thought an interesting thing to do for this video is, since we're talking about energy, I decided I'm going to wake up and not have any caffeine yet, but I'm going to have caffeine during this video and see if we can see things like my mood and energy change during the video. I woke up about maybe 2 hours ago. Generally, I have pre-workout every morning. This has 200 milligrams of caffeine. I haven't taken it yet, but I'm going to take it now and we'll see how it goes. And then also, I have one of the energy drinks that I'm going to talk about today, and I'm going to be drinking that as well. That also has 200 milligrams of caffeine. Remember that doctors or WebMD recommends that you can take up to 400 milligrams of caffeine and you'd be okay. So this ends up being 400 milligrams of caffeine for the day. I'm going to drink the pre-workout and then I'll start the energy drink. I actually drink this pre-workout every day, regardless of whether or not I'm working out. If you want a video on why I do that, let me know in the comments, because I actually can explain a little bit about why I take it every day. But the energy drink for this video is going to be Gorilla Mind. I know it's a supplement brand. I didn't know that they started making energy drinks. So we're going to see how it is. I had the cherry vanilla flavor one. That one tasted kind of fake, but this one is blackberry lemonade. So we'll drink it while we're doing the video on energy drinks. This video is going to be on energy drinks, and it's going to be based on taste, the ingredients in it, sugar content, and pretty much like how much caffeine or how good it is for you. The first one we're going to talk about is Red Bull. It's the OG. It's the first energy drink that came out, and now they have a bunch of different flavors and sizes. This one was the one that really started it all. And what's funny now is you'll hear people have horror stories of someone that drank too many Red Bulls, but now Red Bull is possibly at the bottom tier of caffeine levels. If you get the small one, it's like 80 milligrams of caffeine compared to some of the bigger cans that have like 150 or 200, I think. All these other brands mostly have like 200 or 300 milligrams of caffeine per can. So Red Bull is kind of at the bottom of the caffeine tier because it has so much varying range. The problem with Red Bull though is that there's a lot of sugar, and that's what started giving people what they called that energy crash. Before my leg days, I'll have my pre-workout and then I'll have a Red Bull just to get a little energy boost, but not so much so that I'm jittery or I feel like I can't have a good workout in the gym. It's actually pretty good. It's not as bad as the cherry vanilla one. That one tasted so fake. Another bad thing about Red Bull too is that all the caffeine doesn't come from any natural sources. So it's very much a bunch of chemicals in a can. The pros of Red Bull are the caffeine content. They're not as high as some of the other ones, but also the cons are the sugar content, and also it can be the caffeine if you want a little bit more of an energy boost. Yeah, they do have the sugar-free cans, but the sugar additive that they use is aspartame, and for me that aspartame is as good of a sugar alternative as something like sucralose. One last benefit for Red Bull is that it is available worldwide, so you can pretty much find it anywhere. That is the good thing about Red Bull. I can't get things like Gorilla Mind, Ghost, or some of the other supplement companies overseas like I can with Red Bull. Because it's pretty much matched with pros and cons, we're going to put it on a C tier. I wonder if I drink the whole thing. I wasn't expecting on drinking the whole thing, but we'll see. If you like energy drinks and you like free workouts, sign up for my newsletter. Get free workouts sent to you right to your email that you can download for free. And if you're enjoying this video, make sure to like as well as subscribe so that you can keep getting more content just like this. Next up, we got Monster. Monster is also kind of the same tier as Red Bull. It has a little bit more caffeine content. The average can has about 150 grams of caffeine compared to Red Bull, which has more varying caffeine levels. Their sugar-free cans also contain sucralose compared to Red Bull, which has aspartame. The cons with Monster are the same as Red Bull. The ones that do have sugar have high sugar content, and the caffeine doesn't come from any natural sources. However, it is also available internationally, which I bought in Colombia, as well as Europe when I stayed over there a little bit. Monster Energy drink has more sugar-free options compared to Red Bull, but that's really the only added pro to Monster compared to Red Bull. They're pretty much hand in hand, so we're going to put them again in the C tier. Okay, the more I drink this, the more I realize that it has that fake aftertaste that some energy drinks do. So the more I'm drinking it, the more I'm like, it could be better. Okay, after Monster, we have Bang energy drinks. Bang energy drinks are the first one on the list that have a really high caffeine content of 300 milligrams per can. Bang energy drink also talks about having CoQ10 and creatine in it. I think this was the first energy drink that was talking about having an enhanced workout performance. The good thing about Bang energy drinks is all of them have 0 sugar in it, and the sugar additive comes from sucralose instead of aspartame. I drank these all the time when I first started personal training. I had like the cotton candy flavors, and then every time they came out with a new flavor, I would always try it, and it's really good. They seem to have fallen off a little bit. I think actually the CEO is bankrupt now, but they still sell them in gas stations and pretty much everywhere that they sell other energy drinks. Now, what I don't like about them is that they have too high of caffeine content. I'm not really a fan of the energy drinks that have the 300 milligrams of caffeine, because if you were to drink just 2, that ends up being 600 milligrams compared to if you had something like Ghost or this Gorilla Mind that I'm drinking right now. It has 200 milligrams, and if you had 2, you would get up to only 400, which it still is in that recommended range of the amount of caffeine that you can have. I did end up having pretty bad crashes in the afternoon with Bang energy drinks though. Oh, another thing is that they also have BCAAs in these Bang energy drinks. I don't think BCAAs really work. There's never really been any studies that people have talked about in videos that say that BCAAs are really something you should be taking. So you can take it or leave it. Another thing with Bang energy drinks is that, again, they have that manufactured caffeine in it instead of caffeine coming from natural sources. Because it has a high caffeine content and really nothing else going for it, the creatine isn't really enough to make any benefit, as well as the BCAAs. You can take it or leave it. I'm going to put this again in the C tier because the pros are probably just about as much as the cons. We talked about Monster already, but we talked about the main Monster brand. Actually, they came out with another energy drink type called Reign, and I'd like to talk about that a little bit. Reign is Monster's answer to Bang. So they have 300 milligrams of caffeine. They have the CoQ10 and BCAAs in it as well. The key difference though between Reign and Bang is that Reign has electrolytes and the caffeine does come from natural sources. They don't have as many flavors as Bang did, but the flavors that they do have, in my opinion, are still pretty good, like the orange dreamsicle and the sherbet and the white gummy bear are pretty good. Even though it does have a high caffeine content, I never really feel a crash when I drink Reign energy drinks. And the good thing about Reign as well is it has those electrolytes in it. So caffeine can actually make you a little bit more dehydrated. The electrolytes, I feel, balances it out, which is another step up from Bang. All of the drinks are also sugar-free, and they use sucralose as well. Even though it does have a pretty high caffeine content, I'm going to put this in the A tier because even if you were to drink it by itself, you wouldn't have a crash later, and you can still get a pretty good workout from it as well. We went over the top brands that are sold as energy drinks, not necessarily sold as performance. I mean, Red Bull, talked about Give You Wings, and they have the extreme sports, but they're not really advertised as something that helps you with your workouts. Now let's go into the supplement brands that started making energy drinks, one of them being C4. I don't think C4 was the first supplement brand to start making energy drinks. However, C4 is the most popular supplement brand, is one of the most populars. And I think when they started making energy drinks, a lot of people took notice of that and started drinking it because they have such a developed supplement brand that people already knew what it was. C4 has more of the pre-workout ingredients compared to the previous ones. For instance, they have beta-alanine, and I think they have citrulline in it as well. So this is an energy drink that is a little bit more designed to take before your workouts. It has that less caffeine than some of the other ones. It has 200 milligrams of caffeine. And I think they have 2 different brands too. I think they have the caffeine that isn't come from natural sources, and then they have a C4 like Smart Energy where the caffeine does come from natural sources. I drank the C4 energy drinks when I didn't have any pre-workout, and I still felt energized, and there wasn't really any crash to them, especially in the smart ones compared to the regular ones. I was also able to find them when I was in Europe, and I was able to find them in Puerto Rico. Yes, Puerto Rico is part of the US, but some of the supplements that also have energy drinks you can only find in stores like GNC or Vitamin Shop, compared to living over here where I found this one at a gas station. Because of C4's availability in Europe, it has a nice caffeine content of 200, so you could technically take 2 drinks of it if you wanted to. They do have an option that gives you caffeine from natural sources, and it is built a little bit more for pre-workout. I'm going to put this one in the A tier as well. Now on to my favorite energy drink brand, which is Ghost. I have their protein and I love to drink their energy drinks. Their flavors are really, really good. They have things like Swedish Fish and the Sour Patch Kids. They also have caffeine that comes from natural sources, and they're only at 200 milligrams of caffeine. They have a few of the other pre-workout ingredients that aren't, the ones that a lot of people talk about, like beta-alanine, creatine, and citrulline. So I don't really pay attention to those ingredients as much. It is one that I've taken before workouts, and I've had a pretty good workout. Also, I've drinking like 2 of them before a leg day, and I never felt any jitters or any crashes after the workout. I really enjoy Ghost energy drinks. The only problem is that they're not as available as something like C4. You can't find them in Puerto Rico unless it's in a supplement store, and they're not available internationally. I've seen some gas stations pull them from their shelves, so I don't know if Ghost is still going to be selling energy drinks. As of right now, they still do, and they're really great. Putting my personal bias aside though, I'm going to put it in the B tier just because it doesn't have those ingredients that I would like to have for a pump, like the beta-alanine like C4 does, and they're not as widely available as C4 is. After Ghost, we have Bucked Up. If you saw my Bucked Up pre-workout review, you'll know that I used to be a big old fan of Bucked Up and drink the pre-workouts, have the shirts and stuff like that. And during that time, they came out with energy drinks, and I was super stoked to be able to try them out. Even though I'm now not really a fan of the pre-workout as much as I used to be, I do think the energy drink has some merit to it. They have ingredients in there that are supposed to support your mood as well as enhance your performance. I don't drink them as much because they're not as available as some of the other supplement brands, but I do like to try them out every now and then when I go to a supplement store. I haven't checked to see if their caffeine comes from natural sources. I haven't seen them advertise that, so I can't say whether or not the caffeine is from a natural source. They do also have, I think it's 300 milligrams of caffeine. However, they do have a low stim energy drink option, which is, I think, 100 milligrams of caffeine. So I would drink a lot of those instead of the normal ones because they were a little bit lower in the caffeine content. My gripes with them though is that they're not as readily available as the other supplement brands like I mentioned. Even though this energy drink has things in it that can improve your workout performance, this isn't necessarily an energy drink that I would use for pre-workout. I do think it's very solid though with the ingredients that it does have to like boost your mood and help you focus better. It's a very solid energy drink. The only issue is that it's not as readily available, and I personally wouldn't use it for a pre-workout. Depending on the type of person you are, if you're someone that does drink energy drinks for workout, or if you only drink Bucked Up as a lifestyle, you could put this either in the B or the C tier. Because I never really seem to be able to find any Bucked Up, and I don't drink it as much, and I don't use it as a pre-workout. I use it just to give me a little bit of a boost. I'm going to put it in the B tier because it has 2 different caffeine options, as well as it does seem to boost my mood when I drink it. However, if you were to use it as a pre-workout, I would say just go with the powder instead of the energy drink option. You guys see the energy change? I don't know if you see the energy change or if my mood still looks the same. I feel a lot more energized though, I promise. After Bucked Up, we're going to talk about Alani Nu. Alani Nu is something that I feel came out of nowhere in the energy drinks, and I'm not sure if they came out with energy drinks first and then came out with the supplement brand, or if it was they came out with both at the same time. If I were to look at Alani Nu, their supplements and their energy drinks, I feel like is designated more towards women, but I still drink the energy drinks from time to time because I like their flavors. Alani Nu does state that they have clean ingredients. However, they don't explicitly state that their caffeine comes from a natural energy source. I've never felt a crash from it. like some of the other ones that didn't have natural caffeine sources, so they could very well might, but it doesn't explicitly say. They have 200 milligrams of caffeine in it, and they also talk about they have a lot of biotin in it. However, I think that's about as far as the pros go. Most of the other cons are that everything's underdosed. It really just is caffeine in a can. It doesn't really have many other benefits, such as something to help improve your pre-workout. Even their pre-workout brands are not that good. They're not supplemented as well as some of the other companies, but I still drink it from time to time because I like the cherry slush flavor. It is more readily available compared to something like Bugged Up. However, with stuff like Ghost and C4 that are also more readily available, I would choose C4 and Ghost over Alani Nu. And because of that, I'm going to put it in the D tier, honestly, because it's just a lot of better options out there, and the only thing that I would really drink them for is caffeine and the flavor. Okay, now let's talk about something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Let's talk about the Celsius energy drink. I don't know how this energy drink all of a sudden became so popular. It existed before it became popular, and they sold it in places like Planet Fitness and supplement stores, but now they seem to be selling it everywhere. It's kind of like how Bang was when they started. Bang was being sold everywhere, and that's all you could see were Bang energy drinks, and that's kind of how Celsius is becoming. I'm really not a fan of Celsius. There's so much more better energy drinks out there compared to Celsius. C4 and Ghost are ones that I would take over Celsius, but putting my bias aside, it does have caffeine that comes from natural sources that touts that it has this thermogenic effect, which there hasn't really been any studies that say that the thermogenic effect actually helps you burn more calories. It does have 200 milligrams of caffeine, but another con is that all of the flavors that they have are not that good. It has that fake aftertaste, just like I'm finding out with this one, that it has that fake aftertaste to it. But unfortunately, it is more readily available than things like Ghost, and it's actually one of the only energy drinks that you can really get in places like the airport. With that being said, I'm going to put it in the C tier because I don't feel like the thermogenic effects really can benefit you necessarily. The taste is also not that good, but it is above D tier because it's more readily available than some of the other drinks. After getting off my soapbox from Celsius, let's talk about a different brand called Rockstar. Rockstar did start out as being advertised as an energy drink. I think they've started to kind of advertise themselves as performance as well. However, I think all of them have high sugar content, which can lead to a crash. And I think only one of them has BCAAs. They are more internationally available compared to some of the other ones I've mentioned. However, because of the high sugar content, the caffeine does not come from natural sources. I'm going to put this one in the D tier as well. Another one we're going to breeze right through is NOS energy drinks. NOS energy drinks are kind of in the same league as Rockstar. They mostly just have a bunch of sugar in them. They taste really good. I drank these in college, but the crash was terrible. It's not something I would ever drink anymore. I don't know how available these are compared to the other brands, but again, I'm just going to put this one in the D tier because of the high sugar content and the fake caffeine. Let's talk about Red One. Red One, the Total War brand, is kind of like C4 in that it's been a supplement brand for a lot longer than an energy drink brand, but I think they just started coming out with them. I had one time. Honestly, I wasn't too much of a fan of it. The flavor was really, really good, and they had ingredients that helped you with your pre-workout. The problem is that it really gave me a lot worse jitters compared to the other energy drinks that I've mentioned. It did only have 200 milligrams of caffeine, but just from that 200 milligrams, I felt very jittery and like I couldn't focus or concentrate. They're a newcomer to the energy drink market, and they seem to be putting it in all the available places like gas stations and supermarkets. But because of the jitters and the competition that it has with right now, I'm going to put it in the D tier. It could change. They could change the formula and ingredients over time, but as of right now, it's going to stay in the D tier. Last one I want to talk about is the one that I'm drinking right now, Gorilla Mind. As I've been drinking it, I've been able to kind of come up with a review on it. I told you guys I had one other flavor before and it tasted really fake. This one also has that fake taste to it, but it does have things that I like in it. It has L-theanine And the Alpha GPC, I think, makes me not feel as jittery compared to the Red One. It does only have 200 milligrams of caffeine, but the problem is that the caffeine doesn't come from natural sources. That's a shame. And it's a newcomer just like Red One. However, if I were to choose between the two of Red One and Gorilla Mind, I'd probably choose this one because I don't feel as jittery as I did with Red One. I think it's probably because of the L-theanine and the alpha GPC. Would I want to go do a workout with this one? I don't think so. I still think I'm a little bit more biased towards C4 as being a energy drink as well as a little bit pre-workout because of the beta alanine. I do correlate beta alanine with a pre-workout, so I would still choose that. But it does have 200 milligrams of caffeine. The flavors are okay. It has that weird aftertaste, kind of like Celsius, although I do think it's a little bit more beneficial than Celsius. It has higher quality ingredients compared to Celsius, although Celsius does have caffeine that comes from natural sources. I will put this in the C tier right now. It could go either way. It could go down to D, it could go up to B, or not sure. I'll just leave it as C tier. So we went over some of the most popular ones as well as some of the new energy drinks that are coming out. Let me know if you agree with some of my rankings or if you thought one should be better or one should be ranked worse. Even though you guys know that Ghost is my favorite, I still think that C4 is probably the best one that is for availability as well as a pre-workout drink. If you're used to the beta alanine, you won't really feel it as a regular energy drink, and they do have that option where the caffeine comes from natural sources, and you can surprisingly find it in a lot of other places, including other countries. Let me know in the comments if there's an energy drink that you haven't tried that you want to now since I've talked about it, and thank you guys so much for watching the video.